What's going on, everybody? This is jcabale with cabalemedia.com, and today we are going to go over some practical applications for A/B testing. Stay tuned. Today I planned on doing a walkthrough step-by-step way on how to apply A/B testing in your email marketing. At some point, I do plan to do that, but I felt it would be better that I discussed really just the applications on how to use A/B testing in your email marketing. We went over a few different variables to test, but today I would rather just give you real-life walkthroughs as far as me speaking to you and discussing it to the camera, other than me going through MailChimp or Klaviyo, whatever you call it, because I understand that a lot of you are probably working on different email service providers. Again, whether that be MailChimp or Klaviyo or Constant Contact, Brevo, ActiveCampaign. There are many that I deal with on the daily, so it probably would make more sense that I just discuss it and then you can use it. Take this video, set markers, and then figure out what would be the best things to test and how it would work better for you. So we're going to start off with the tried and true subject line testing. What is going to make your audience want to open up the email? As you probably remember in past videos, I like to use the PASO or the Pastoral Framework. Again, I'll put those links down below. It's basically discussing what the best type of copy or content to use in order to get the customer's attention. So the problem, whether that be, let's say, for example, you own a clothing line and the problem is the leggings don't fit. A is agitate. How do we really agitate the customer or the potential buyer to make them want to buy your product? Something along the lines of, do you still want to work out in leggings that are uncomfortable? Your workout should be a breeze, so on and so forth. S is the solution. We have these leggings that will make your workout even better, that will make you thrive, not just strive in your daily or your weekly workout routine. And then O, I just kind of said in the solution what the outcome is, and that's you'll have a better workout, etc., so on and so forth. You would use that framework in order to get your point across, meaning you have the best leggings, and these are the leggings everyone should use because you'll feel a certain way if you use them. That's one practical example. When it comes to subject lines, something like that, it makes sense. For example, what seems to work in subject lines a lot is something like suspense. Suspense meaning you don't want to miss this, fear of missing out. Those types of things spark something in the customer's mind and they say to themselves, well, what am I missing out on? Or top things you didn't know about, ... Having a suspenseful subject line really intrigues the person on the other side to want to read that email. Things like that tend to have a better open rate. Doesn't always necessarily mean it's going to work, but they tend to have a better open rate in comparison to, say, the best leggings ever. Something like that. I'm just using these as examples, but you obviously can change them into whatever you think works. Subjectline.com are great to test. As far as subject lines, you put in the subject line you want to test, and then it gives you recommendations. And if you rate at 100%, great. If you don't, then it gives you ways to tweak them. Now, with that said, I think anywhere between 90% to 100% is something that works really well. I wouldn't always think just because a subject line rated at 100, it's always going to be the best. Try a couple of variations out, do as much A/B testing as you can with it, and then see where it goes from there. Then you'll see what has the better open and click-through rate. Sender's name seems to be a really big one, right? Using personalization, one of my favorites. Having their name in the subject line always, not always, tends to have a better open rate. Better open rate can mean many things. So if last week you had a 2% open rate, which unfortunately sometimes happens, and then the week after that, if you personalize it, has a 4% open rate. Now, it's difficult to say if personalization is necessarily the key. It can also be the timing. We'll go into that into our next variable, But if you try personalization in the subject line or even in the body copy, see what works out the best. I wouldn't do too many personalizations in the email itself just because it could get a little too messy. Try one at the top, high first name, and then see where it gets you. I've worked with some of my clients that they have personalization at the top, they have it in the middle, they have it at the bottom. These people know what their name is. You don't have to continue to put their name in every part of the email. Try it in the subject line, then try it in the email itself, and then see what happens. I think when it comes to A/B testing, you should use as many variables as possible. Well, not variables. You should use as many options as far as what's going to make your email better than using less. Whether that's using the preview text or the view in browser line, utilize everything you can to get maximum and efficient results. The more you test, the more like I said, the more you test, the better results you'll get. But people don't like to use too many things at once. Things like the view in browser, those things are always in the email. So use that, use the preview text, and then see what happens. Testing email content comes in many different ways. Do you really want to read a long email? Do you really want to read a short email? I don't know. It really depends on your audience. Older audiences seem to like longer emails. The younger audiences, attention span's a little bit lower, so they like things to be more skimmable and readable. But in general, you should be making your emails more readable and skimmable. It's just better for the overall outcome because they know the exact point of the email. I'm sure you've gotten sends to your mailbox and you have no idea what the email is about. But then you'll get an email sometime during the middle of the day and it'll have everything bolded so you know exactly what that email is about. Do your research. We can use all the AI tools that we need in order to produce content faster, but always fact check what you're putting in these emails. I understand you want to produce as much as possible, but again, like I've said before, AI is just your virtual assistant or like your virtual assistant. It's good for spitting out ideas and giving you something to write if your paper or your email or your notepad has been blank for, 20, 30 minutes, maybe even hours. Have it spit out variations and tweak as much as you can. You don't want your email to sound very AI, which a lot of people are starting to use. If I tell you how many times I've seen unlock in an email or enhance, it's crazy. People just use it and take every single thing AI spits out and use it verbatim. I wouldn't do that. Your marketing should be your marketing. You should ultimately be deciding the tone on how your email should be written. Take the AI, use it as a tool, and then use that to create your content, whether it's long or short. You'll definitely move a little faster if you're using things like ChatGPT or Gemini. But again, cater it to your audience, make sure you have the right tone, and then test whether or not longer or shorter emails make sense. Call to action can be tricky. Here's another variable that we want to talk about. When you're a B2B company, you'll have one call to action. Maybe another one like call here or call this number because they want to talk to you. They're probably selling you some type of service or some type of one-to-one meeting. Try things out with your call to action, putting it in the first person. For example, book my spot now. Using my, bring me to this page. Something like that instead of things like, okay, let's go back to B2C, for example. Shop now, buy now. Those things are just so overused and so overdone. When you do something like use my in your CTA, it makes the consumer or your potential buyer feel more engaged with the email. They're like, oh, my shopping cart, go to my cart. That's why abandoned emails work so well. For anybody who doesn't know what abandoned cart email is, it's for anybody in the B2C space. People add things to their cart and then they don't buy it. I'm sure many of you have gotten an email that says you left something in your cart. Those emails perform extremely well. And if you check, a lot of them use things like complete my purchase, bring me to my cart, invoking that emotion that it's ownership, that you own it. So with CTAs, change the wording and then test from there. You can also do colors. Color testing is also very important. If you look online, I'll drop a link also below, that color theory does work. Experimenting with different colors makes people feel a certain way. Red is urgent, green has something to do with money, blue is comfortable, and then contrast those colors if it goes with your brand. If you're using a particular color, always try to make sure always that it has to stay on brand for one, and then try to use a contrast color to make the color pop out more. For CTAs, different colors, different placements, whether it be at top, middle, bottom, multiple CTAs for B2C, and then using third person, my. One thing I want to stress a lot about email marketing, that if you're the owner of the business, which I work with a lot of owners, one thing when it comes to email marketing is that if you're an owner of the business, it's difficult to sell your product sometimes because you have your own biases. Even in my own companies, I use other people to help me because sometimes it's just hard to see past what you believe or what you already know. It's good to get other opinions. I always say this also. Just because you know your product well doesn't mean you can necessarily sell it. There are people that are extremely good at email marketing and can help get your point across. So if you're stuck in this rut, get people to help you. I'll be more than happy to help you. Try to test things for at least 3 months and see if it's actually not working before changing anything drastically. But try to get a second eye when you're testing your email marketing or anything really, just so you can see past things you've already done. But anyway, social proof. There are so many brands that are just influencer brands. That's the reality of the world, that influencers do make up a lot of sales when it comes to emails. Social proof just works at a lot. Seeing your product or products being used by other people. I would do a campaign, email alone, doing social media influencers versus something like reviews. For example, you have one email that just has all reviews that let's say goes to your Google reviews page. You do another email that goes to your Instagram so you can see all the influencers. Maybe you have another test variable where it's pictures of your influencers. Maybe you do something like a YouTube video or a reel or a short, and then have the email linked to there so they can see exactly how it's being used in practical application. Leggings, whatever you're selling, food, beverages, teas, something along those lines. See what works. UGC content is great. For those that know me, I don't love social media because social media isn't what's going to make or break your businesses. I deal with companies that have been around for 10 years that barely have a social media following, but kill it in email marketing. I'm talking about $60,000, $70,000 a month, and they do incredibly well with 1,400 followers on Instagram. But with that said, use Instagram or UGC or Google reviews or Trustpilot, and then throw those into your email, test and see what works well or see what works the best. Timing. Tuesday and Thursday for a while have been the best times to send. Tuesday morning, Thursday morning. Monday, people are getting back into the office. Wednesday's hump day. People are already starting to lose interest to some extent. Thursday goes right back up. And then Friday, everybody in their head is already at happy hour. Just being realistic here. 10 a.m. in the morning, Tuesday and Thursday. You could even try sending it around 9 on their way to commuting. 10 a.m. they're for sure already at their desk. They're already in the workflow, so seeing your email come in around that time is a great way and a great time to test. You can try out other variables, of course. If you're testing consistently, you can for sure see if sending after dinner, before dinner. After lunch, I wouldn't really recommend because people are tired after lunch and they're not paying attention. Try to do in the morning, 10 a.m., somewhere between 8 and 10, Tuesday, Thursday. And then if you want to try after lunch, I do something around 2 to 3 o'clock. Segmentation. So many things you can segment. My favorite, 30-90, 30-60-90. But those are more win-back testing. People who haven't purchased in 30 days, people who haven't engaged in 60 days, people who haven't engaged in 90 days. Those are more of trying to get them back. Let's go past that for a second. People who have Let's say, for example, let's see here, past behavior. That kind of goes back to 30, 60, 90 days. If you know they've bought certain products, try to upsell them or downsell. You want to try to increase your AOV, that's average order value. I would try to upsell. Then again, it doesn't always work because they just purchased something or they purchased in that price point at some point in their buyer's journey. You can try to downsell. But let's say they've been purchasing, again, let's go back to clothing brands. If they've been purchasing leggings, maybe try to sell them another pair of leggings. Maybe try to upsell them with something a little bit more expensive, like a sweatshirt. If you want to downsell, maybe a bra's a little cheaper. Try to use different things to sell and then see what happens. Past behaviors again. See if they're more likely to only buy during a sale. Maybe at that point you should send them a coupon. Maybe they only buy when they get birthday emails. Remind them their birthday's coming up in 6 months. These are just ideas that are shooting off the top of my head. They may not make sense. In my head, they do. I think something like a birthday email is great. We miss you email if they haven't bought, let's say, in a couple months. Again, those kind of a getting them back type of email. See what they purchased in the past, see what they're more likely to buy, and then cater that email towards them. Tone of voice, more formal, more casual. Formal meaning hello, so-and-so. Casual meaning, hey, how are you? Speak to you soon, talk to you later. Kind of slang-ish, don't make it too unprofessional. You want to talk to them when it's in the more casual aspect, like they're your friend. If it's more formal, let's say B2B, depending on the demographic, it can be very professional. But I've seen a lot of B2B, things like SaaS, software as a service, be very casual. You have to test it out and see what your audiences are more likely to open and resonate with. So changing up the tone of voice, whether it be formal or casual, is another great way to test. Offer an incentive, discount emails. Let's be real here. Discounts generally do well. Try offering them, whether it be percentage or a fixed amount, 10% off, $5 off, limited time offer, an evergreen offer. An evergreen offer is something you always have. Let's say, 10% off your first order. They don't necessarily have expiration dates or 10% off, let's say, your first purchase. For example, you can compare it to something like 20% off for Valentine's Day. That's a limited time deal. An evergreen offer is something that basically just stays the whole time. So again, free shipping over orders of a certain amount and then 10% off your first order. So there are a few examples of testing your emails. There's definitely a lot more we can go in depth about, but I hope these help your email marketing efforts. If you like this video, please like, share, and subscribe. Leave a comment down below. Tell your friends about it. Tell your family about it. If you need anything, please email me at jcabale@cabalemedia.com. That's JCABALE at cabalemedia, CABALE media.com. Or you can go to cabalemedia.com. Book your free 30-minute consultation. I would love to chat with you and improve your email marketing. Again, this is jcabale with cabalemedia.com, and I'll see you at the next video.